We are so excited to announce that we are planning our next trip to the UK, but there's one catch.
We need your help.
There will be some main general questions that we will leave a link to in the description to help, but let's talk this out. First of all, we have not officially booked our flights yet, although that is going to be coming very soon. But right now we are looking at November. Sometime in November, probably about 3 weeks, maybe mid to late November that overlaps into December is currently what we're looking at.
We are in the early stages of planning this, and we do know from some experience being there in October and November a couple of years ago that days can be really short, like getting dark at like 3:30, things like that. And we are probably not going to hire a car on this trip and just use train travel basically to get around.
Yes, I think we're gonna kind of go into some of the polls that we've polled you guys on recently, kind of getting your input, talking through some of the options that we have. But I think the goal is primarily to do like cities and things like that, because you know, a day out at the coast might not be quite as nice in November.
Yeah, probably not.
But we are planning to come back next spring potentially, so I think we can kind of have, here's what we do this time, here's what we might do next time, and we can kind of divide those out between weather appropriate things for each time of year. A couple of the flights that we've found good deals on are ones that either have a layover in Dublin, or we could potentially fly into Dublin and then maybe fly out of London. And so we're looking at possibly doing Ireland and Northern Ireland. We might postpone that to the spring, but we definitely, it's you know, we haven't been to either yet.
Yeah.
So we definitely would need your recommendations for what to see and do in both Ireland and Northern Ireland, because we finally got to cross off that last UK country.
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet, but hopefully, at least, if not this time, next time. The other option we were looking at was possibly flying KLM through Amsterdam, which would mean that we could potentially take a ferry from, I think, Newcastle to Amsterdam. So any kinds of recommendations for maybe other countries we could have layovers in that you know about, maybe some good deals. We tend to get different airline deals here in the US than you do in the UK, but maybe you know ones that we don't know about.
So in the last few months, we have posted some polls and asked you guys questions and for recommendations, and let's check out some of those.
Yes, and if you are not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed to our channel so that you see the polls that pop up in your feed, so that you can help us make decisions in the future. The first poll that we asked was, which experiences would you be interested in seeing? And the top two things almost equal are visiting a British theme park and visiting a uniquely British museum. I don't think a theme park is gonna work out for us in November.
So well, yeah.
Maybe that's a spring thing.
Yeah.
But it does seem that Alton Towers is really highly recommended. It seems like a pretty cool one. So maybe that's something we can do in the future. I think for a museum, the #1 place that we get recommended seems to be Beamish, up in Newcastle or outside of Newcastle. I guess it's in County Durham, but maybe we can do that. That also is an outdoor museum, so
weather permitting, that might be a spring thing as well.
Yeah, but maybe you know of some really interesting, quirky museums that we should check out. Maybe ones that are lesser known. Definitely let us know what your recommendations are, especially, you know, any of the cities around the UK. I think this time we're potentially going to do England and Scotland, and maybe next spring do see more of Wales and then add on Northern Ireland. So any museums that you think, oh, don't miss that one, let us know.
Today's video is sponsored by Manta Sleep.
Are you tired of being tired? Introducing Manta Sleep Masks, the revolutionary sleep solution for sensitive sleepers. Kara, why don't you try on this Manta Pro Mask? Wow, it's adjustable. I can get it to fit exactly my face. And I can see anything when I have this thing on. And Jeremy, how about this Manta Sound Mask?
I can listen to soothing sounds while not bothering Kara.
But wait, there's more. Tell us, Kara, how has Manta Sleep helped you? Well, enthusiastic voiceover, we recently moved into a new house and it has this amazing skylight. Incredible amounts of light during the day, but not so amazing at 5 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep. With Manta Sleep Mask, now I actually stay asleep, even with all that light coming in. Incredible. And you, Jeremy?
I used to wake up multiple times a night, but with the soothing sounds from my Manta sound mask, I sleep like a baby.
Wow, it sounds like Manta Sleep has revolutionized your sleep. We can't wait to use these on our upcoming flight to the UK and our travels to the UK in general.
Yeah, a 10-hour overnight flight, not a problem with my Manta Sleep Mask.
Try Manta Sleep for yourself. Click the link in the description or visit mantasleep.com and use the code TheMagicGeekdom for 10% off your order. Sweet dreams and happy travels, everyone.
The next poll we have is about cities that we have previously visited in England and where you guys would like us to go back and potentially film another video. And Manchester is winning that right now, but just by a little bit.
It's funny that that's the one because that's one that I've seen a lot of comments lately come through about Manchester with new suggestions. And one of the comments I remember seeing most recently was that we didn't really explore a lot of Manchester in the video that we made there. And that's true. We only had about 24 hours there. And so we saw what we could in this little section of it.
Yeah.
And so we definitely love to go back to Manchester. We also, I saw a comment just, I think yesterday or today, recommending this and that, the curry house we went to.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, ooh, we did go there in our video we made a couple years ago, but it was really good and I'd love to go back. So if you have any specific suggestions for other neighborhoods, you know, we've made a lot of videos in a lot of places. We still have a lot more to see, but I do think that there are places like Liverpool where when we went to Liverpool, we kind of only just did Beatles stuff.
Pretty much,
We only had the day there. I would love to go back and do like a proper visit where we see more of the city. And so I would love to know for any, you know, any places, especially cities in the north, what other neighborhoods like Newcastle, where else should we go in that vicinity? Because I think we've seen a lot of stuff. Our friends Sean and Caroline live there. They've taken us all over that whole area.
Yeah.
But we haven't really filmed a lot of videos outside of actual Newcastle proper and Durham. So let us know where you would like to see, what suburbs and things we should check out in the future.
The most recent poll that we posted was essentially asking Americans visiting what's the one food that they should try. And that was far and away Sunday roast. And while we have had Sunday roast in a few places, is there a place that we should go that has like a particularly good Sunday roast that we've missed out on so far?
Yeah, I think there are still a lot of foods that we haven't really tried. Like we had so many recommendations for putting together Bubble and Squeak when we made an English breakfast, but first of all, we haven't actually sat down in a cafe or pub or restaurant or anything like high end or low end in the UK and had a proper English breakfast. So maybe there's a good place you can recommend for that. Because I think a lot of people have said you got to find a good greasy spoon, which where is that? Where's your greasy spoon?
The second highest thing on the poll was fish and chips, and we've tried that in a number of places, including the Magpie, which in Whitby that a lot of people told us that's where we had to go. But is there some place that we are missing out on? Because we do love a good fish and chips, and we miss, well, the big piece of fish and the chips from over there. We just don't get them here.
So what's your go-to if you're in a city? Because if we don't go to the coast, I mean, I would obviously love coastal recommendations, but if we don't go to the coast, what's your go-to chippy? I have another question kind of related to that because over a year ago when we were still in the UK last, we asked our viewers at the time what you guys wanted to see us make a video about, what chain, and Toby Carvery by far was the #1 vote, so that's why we made a Toby Carvery video.
Yeah.
But we've also never been to a Wetherspoons, and we've kind of been going back and forth about it because we've had a lot of people tell us that they're not the greatest company, but I feel like we're missing out if we don't at least try it one time, right?
Yeah, we probably have to try it.
So you'll have to let us know if there's any chains or things like that that are uniquely British that we should give a whirl. The next thing that we want your input on is about doing a meetup. This is something that we have floated the idea of the last couple trips.
Yeah.
We really thought that last time spending almost 6 months there, we would have plenty of time to plan one and think one through. But then while we were there, we were kind of just planning like what the next month was gonna look like. Time kind of got away from us while we were there.
So we would like to try and plan something before we go, so we know we have it sort of at least kind of solidified.
Yeah, so once we book our flights, we know our exact dates.
Yeah.
We'll try to tentatively plan maybe 1 or 2, maybe 1 in London.
And one in the north.
Yeah, just to try to be centrally located. But we're just curious, like, would you like one in Manchester? Maybe York could be a fun one. Maybe we could go have a fun outing in York. I don't know.
That could work too. We just want to be able to facilitate as many of you that would be interested in coming.
Let us know where you would like to see some kind of meetup.
On our second trip, we did visit the Birmingham Christmas market, which is supposedly a very German-influenced market, but we will be there in the time frame that those would be happening, so I think we'd like to check out at least another one. Maybe a little bit more English or low-key one. We were just wondering what you guys think, where that should be. Which one should we go visit?
We've heard York a lot. I think York is a really popular one. I think our friends told us Manchester is a really popular one. And I think when we went to Winchester, we had a lot of people tell us we should come back at Christmas, that there's a nice Christmas market there. Maybe it's nice at Christmas. So I'm curious if you know of maybe like a little hidden gem one that isn't on the radar, one of the bigger ones like York. We would just love to know. If we're gonna be there at Christmas time, we, 1, want to find a good Christmas market to go to, and 2, I think we also just wanna learn more about the Christmas traditions. Our friends Jason and Josh made a video, I think it was in Rye, where they went to this museum that had kind of like, I think it was a 70s Christmas display.
It was
and
really
they were,
interesting.
Yeah, talking about things, how they didn't remember them, like they hadn't seen them since their childhood and stuff. And I thought, I've never seen those. I can't even remember what it was like, maybe tinsel or like
things like
traditions that you have. And I would love to learn more about that. I don't know if there's a way to do that, or if there's an appropriate place to go for Christmas to have some kind of traditional Christmas experience.
I'm sure there's somewhere.
You know those tubes that look like a giant Tootsie Roll that they're called like a Christmas cracker? Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called?
Something to that effect.
I don't even know what you do with them. Do you like pull them?
And like they'll have things in them, like little trinkets.
Like confetti?
And confetti and like a paper crown or something you can put on.
Oh, see, I've never done that. Have you ever? That's not an American thing.
I don't think so, really.
I would love to do one of those. I want to do a Christmas cracker. Where do I do that? Sign me up.
I'm sure you can find them at a store somewhere.
Yeah. What are the good things from M&S we should get at Christmas time? I need all the deets.
That's definitely fair.
So here's a couple things that we kind of touched on a little bit, but just to give a little bit more context. Train travel. So we're definitely going to be looking at more train travel because we won't be hiring a car, most likely. That probably will be a spring thing because it just makes more sense if we're going to go to coastal towns and things to just have a car and kind of zip around a little bit easier. I'm just curious if you have any recommendations for, I mean, people have told us that sometimes like the bus is a lot more affordable. This is going to be a very budget trip. So any kind of tips for travel, budget related tips, any travel hacks you have about how to get good deals? I think we've got some good idea. A lot of people have made recommendations about, I think there's a train that goes through the Yorkshire Dales. There's a train that, I mean, there's that one that goes up the like Harry Potter one that's up in Scotland. Mm-hmm. There's the overnight sleeper that goes from London to Scotland. There are all these possibilities of just interesting train journeys we could potentially take, or maybe bus journeys. I don't know. If you have any recommendations for that or tips related to travel, that'd be great. I feel like spending time in the UK, we got the trains down pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably some things that we could still learn from y'all.
Kara was mentioning earlier the possibility of going through Ireland, but most likely it's going to end up being in and out of London. So if there is something that we have missed previously, or you have a good idea of something to do that's Christmassy in London, you should let us know about that too.
Yeah, I think there's multiple Christmas markets in London,
Sure,
right?
there probably is.
There are a lot. I think there's a lot of stuff to do specifically for Christmas. I don't know if we're gonna do 400 Christmas things in the UK, but
Probably
we
not,
want to pick
but
like at least one or two
couple,
really
yeah.
good ones. Yeah. Oh, I have one more, just a personal question. Where do you get your cool coats at? I want to buy a cool coat in the UK. Like, I have a few goals in the UK in the future. Like, one day I'm gonna buy wellies. And one day I'm gonna buy a cool coat.
All right.
And maybe this trip I'll buy a cool coat. I don't know. Where should I get it from? What do British people call a coat? An overcoat.
Overcoat,
An
yeah.
overcoat, sorry. See, it's like almost every single word, we use different words for clothing. So I get confused and I have to Google it. An overcoat.
Overcoat, yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
Probably.
I mean, people use that here sometimes too, just not as much.
I don't know, I just feel like, especially like when we go to London, there's just really cool fashion in the UK. You've got your winter weather on lockdown. It's great. Teach me. So I think that summarizes it. Where should we go? How should we get there? That's not hiring a car. What other tips do you have? Places to visit, unique, quirky museums, food places, establishments, foods we haven't tried yet. Give us all of your recommendations all at once. I'm so excited. I think honestly, I feel like we've both kind of like over the summer and everything, I feel like I was kind of down. And it's not that I don't like where we live and, you know, it's just like we haven't been in the UK in over a year and
It's just weird, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's been sad. I don't know, I feel like I've been kind of melancholy and yearning for the UK, so we've chosen an appropriate time to go back. In all honesty, when we planned our second trip and we went in the fall, we had so many people tell us that it was a bad time of year to go. And I think the thing is like, for me, I love going no matter what.
Yeah.
And this will be, I think if we especially go into December, it'll be a little bit of an overlap of a time of year we haven't been yet.
That's fair.
I mean, I think January, February is kind of now gonna be the only
Time
months
frame,
we haven't
really.
been there. I'm excited. I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again, meeting you out on the streets and things, and having a good time.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Thank you to our patrons for supporting our channel. We gotta wrap this up because it has
Starting to
turned to
rain.
rain. We're gonna have thunder soon.
If you haven't seen our video where we named the 10 of our favorite places, 10 places we think you should visit if you've never been to the UK or if you're going to the UK, that's gonna be right over here. So go ahead and check that out.